This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young on ESPN Radio 94.1.
Coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, we'll talk with Norm Wood of the Daily Press and Virginian Pilot. He covers everything ACC, particularly when it comes to the Hoos of UVA and the Hokies of Virginia Tech. Big matchup tonight at 8 o'clock. I think it's on ACC Network. That'll come up at 11:05 and 11:25. You'll hear from Rick Doc Walker, the former Super Bowl champion from the Washington football team, in our Sports Inside and Out Legends of Sports segment. Back here with the Coach Ed Young. I'm Matt Hatfield on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by Larry King Law. And before we get to buy or sell with Dino Franza throwing us some hard-hitting questions, UVA, Virginia Tech, the matchup tonight. And Ed, UVA hadn't fared too well against Virginia Tech head-to-head until last year when they finally broke through, ending that long losing streak. And, they come in the better team right now in terms of the last few weeks, but Bronco Mendenhall is very mindful of that can sometimes be misleading, and they got to have the guard up. Here's what he said this week during the weekly press conference.
Each game is a game in and of itself and a season in and of itself. And sometimes the perception of what direction a team is going has a lot to do with just the schedule and how that plays out. And sometimes you get a lot of the tougher teams at the beginning of the year, and that means that you might be perceived to be a slow starter. Sometimes you have tougher teams in a stretch and injuries at the end of a year, and that perceives that you're not finishing. In reality, after all of that, either way, it is this game, and everything else really is mitigated, and not much before carries much weight, quite frankly.
And Virginia Tech land, it's the Commonwealth Cup. And even though the Hokies took it on the chin last week against Clemson, first half they were right there. They literally were a yard away from tying the Tigers, a national championship contender. Second half, they got absolutely boat raced. But really, if they were to bounce back today and get the win over UVA, I think it would quiet a lot of the naysayers and doubters and give the Hokies a little bit of hope after what's been a really, really excruciatingly tough stretch here for them.
Yeah, I think.
You all right? Want some water? Okay.
I'm good right now.
All right. We'll get a bucket and throw it on you. You can lick all the rest of it up on the floor.
When it comes down to Virginia Tech, I think it's one of those games, a cliche game, where, okay, we're not really concerned about records coming in. It's a battle. It's just a situation where Virginia and Virginia Tech do not have glowing records. Virginia's been hot of late. Tech has not been hot of late. But I just like to think that I'm not worried about records. I am worried about is their key players out, because I don't think these two teams go real deep. So the key there is there somebody in particular out that's big? And I think Virginia's coming off of quarterback was injured earlier or something.
But he's playing well right now, Brendan Armstrong. Yeah. Back-to-back 400-burger games.
Right. Maybe it's a Virginia Tech quarterback, but I think one of them.
Yes.
That makes a situation that you wondered, okay, well, who's under center, because that's the key player in the game.
Right. Well, we'll ask that to Norm Wood to see what the injury update is, as he'll be there in Blacksburg. I'm sure we'll have a better idea closer to kickoff. But time for buy or sell. Dino brings us that today, as Ed will try to get the coins out of his pocket and pony up.
All right, time for a little buy or sell. Bethel High grad Jeremiah Owusu of Notre Dame will be named the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Buy or sell?
I'm buying. Who else you going with? The only other guy that I could give you that should beat him out for it, because, again, Clemson's guys are kind of scattered, and most of their decorated pieces are on the offensive side of the ball, as we well know, with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. Notre Dame's got the best defense in the ACC, and I dare say, if not the best defense in the country, one of the 3 or 4 best defenses, and he's been the guy. He sparked in that win over Clemson with the 2 big takeaways, the touchdown. It's Owusu, and maybe the next best guy in the ACC would be Patrick Jones from Grassfield High in Chesapeake, Ed, so I'm buying.
I'm buying, too. No question. I'm buying, too. Like you said, made a good point. Clemson, known for their defense, is scattered out. There's not one big stud. Owusu could be the player of the year in the country on defense. So,
yeah, might be.
All right, our second one here. This season, Grassfield grad Patrick Jones leads all players in the Power 5 conferences with 9 sacks, while his teammate Rashad Weaver's 48 quarterback pressures, according to Pro Football Focus, qualify as the most for any player in a Power 5 league. Like Boston College on Thursday, Pitt opted out of playing in a bowl game this week. Are you buying both? Will be named either first or second team All-Americans. Are you buying or are you selling?
Both Weaver and Jones.
Jones, yep.
That's a tricky one. Ed, I'll let you go first.
My answer is easier. Sell it. Not going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen, both of them? Is that because of Pitt's record not being too glossy?
I think that's going to hurt.
You think that's what's going to hurt them? Yeah. I think they're both deserving because there's not a lot of, again, some of the better defensive ends in the country, their records aren't the greatest, or a couple of them have opted out, and they are 6-5. They're not going to a bowl game, so it's going to hurt their chances. I want to buy, but I think you're right. I think it's sell. I think Jones is going to make it, not Weaver.
We've got some history today. It marks the annual Army-Navy showdown. This year, Army 7-2, Navy 3-6. The Naval Academy has dropped 3 of the past 4 to the Black Knights after a long winning streak, who come into the country rushing touchdowns right now. The Black Knights have 31. One of which is by former Woodside player Tyre Tyler, who has rushed for 344 yards on the season. Are you buying that every touchdown scored by Army today will be of the rushing variety? They like to do that. And that one of them comes from the Newport News native Tyler.
I'm going to sell this, and it's not because I don't think Taylor will fail to find the end zone. I think because Navy's pass defense, if you watch some of them this year, and even the opener against BYU, I think Army they're going to load the box and they'll get at least one passing touchdown. So I'm going to sell this, though I could see them get a lot of rushing touchdowns, and I could see Tyler getting one of them, and I could see them scoring even 40 points today. I'm going to go sell.
Yeah, I think so because Army, more so than Navy, is going to have a trick play or two that Navy hasn't really seen. And I think it is going to be the passing variety, and it could be red zone area.
We're agreeing. We're agreeing too much. I don't like this.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I wanted to go opposite just for the sake of it, but I'm going to sell it.
I guess bad minds think alike. What's up next?
All right, sticking with that game, under the direction of special teams coordinator Sean Saturnino, Army football has blocked 7 kicks this year. It ties the program record. They also had 7 in 2006. The Black Knights will block at least one midshipman kick today. Are you buying or selling?
Army's going to block a kick. We love these block kick ones. We did what with Kansas State back earlier in the season, and they didn't block one that day. We both said no, they wouldn't. Actually, I think it was a punt then. Are you going to buy Ed? Army gets their 8th blocked kick of the year. That's a lot of block kicks. That special teams coordinator should be up for a bigger job. No disrespect to Army. I don't want to upset our military here, but hey, he's doing a heck of a job. They're blocking kicks left and right.
Is this Army's last? This is Army's last game, right? Both have seen.
Well, they've accepted. Is it to the Independence Bowl? I think they accepted a bowl invite. I'm pretty sure they did. I'm not sure if it's that bowl, but I believe I heard that this morning. Now they got Air Force coming up. They got Air Force, the Commander-in-Chief trophy still at stake. They got them next week. Yeah.
You know what? I'm buying it.
You're buying it.
They're going to come at Navy on one of these to get that record. I'm buying it.
Not happening. Navy's got some pride here. They're gonna special teams will at least get this done today. They might not stop them from running the ball or throw one in the end zone.
And the game is an Army. First time since the World War II or whatever.
I don't care about that. I don't even care about the president being there. I'm telling you, I'm selling this. Navy's going to have. Come on, Navy. You got to have at least some special teams pride. I'm selling. Ed's going to buy one. So we disagree.
If Trump's going to be there, then all bets are off because who knows what's going to happen.
All right, next one. Go ahead.
Commonwealth Cup. Virginia Tech has not lost at home to UVA since 1998. The Hokies haven't lost 5 straight games since 1992, and in fact, the last time UVA beat them in back-to-back seasons was 97-98. Will this be the final matchup versus UVA for Justin Fuente as Virginia Tech's head coach? Buy or sell?
It should be. I should be buying this, but I'm going to sell because of the buyout, and I think they'll give him one more year, even though he doesn't deserve it in my humblest of opinions. So I'm going to sell, but the answer should be buy. You're shaking your head. You're going to buy this? You think this is it for Fuente? Swan song?
I don't like talking about coaches losing jobs.
Well, that's because you hold yours near and dear to your heart.
Right.
So
I don't want to lose mine. I don't want karma to hit me.
Hold on to it as long as you can.
By the way, we had this argument with someone this week. What's the difference between karma and reap what you sow? Someone asked me that this week. So I'm going to ask you, Coach Young.
Again?
What's the difference between karma and reap what you sow? Since you said karma, it made me think of this argument, or discussion, I should say, not argument, someone and me had this week.
Karma can come back at you in terms of when you're saying something that's very hard against somebody.
Right.
Watch yourself because we all have some kind of a skeleton in our closet. You have to be careful.
It's a Buddhism, Hindu beliefs, whereas the reap what you sow is more biblical beliefs.
Yes.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
But what's the difference?
But there's really not a whole lot of difference between them.
There you go. I got them all flustered here, Dino.
But going back to Fuente.
Yeah, go back to Fuente. You don't have an answer for me. Go ahead.
As a talking head, not as a coach speaking. If he loses this game, there's no chance for a bowl. And there are going to be some people in Virginia Tech a little upset.
Well, hold on. They're taking teams with losing records to bowls. So they're technically...
They're not going to a bowl.
Okay.
They're not going to a bowl. If he loses this game, especially if they play bad, he could be on his way out.
So you're buying.
I'm not saying they should get rid of him like you did. All right?
Make me the bad guy. You're the one buying, I'm selling.
Run the take back. He said, and I think he should go.
Yes, he should.
I'm saying if he loses this game, there's a better than 50-50 he's done.
I have no problem with Justin
I don't want to see him fired, period.
I don't
think he's done a horrible job.
I didn't say I want to see him fired. I said he should be. He can sit next to me and do 757 Saturday Sports Talk for all I care while you're on the basketball court or wherever you are.
No, his buyout will not allow that to happen because his buyout is more than you'll ever see.
All right. What's the last one or the next one?
Okay, going to wrap it up here on the last buy or sell with college hoops. Thanks to the game winner by freshman Scotty Barnes, Florida State beat Indiana in overtime earlier this week in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. It marked the 10th straight overtime win for FSU. Are you buying that Florida State will not lose an overtime game for the rest of the season? Buy or sell?
10 straight overtimes. That's an impressive streak for Leonard Hamilton, who doesn't look a day over 35, and he's not 35. He's a lot older than that. What do you think?
Oh, man.
No overtime.
No, they're going to lose in overtime this year, so I'm selling that.
You're selling that.
They're guaranteed they're going to lose in overtime this year.
You're
if
guaranteeing?
they have another one.
You're so sure of it, I'm buying. They're not losing in overtime, Dino. Listen, Leonard Hamilton doesn't lose in extra sessions. Doesn't happen. He might lose regulation, but not in overtime.
10 straight. Pretty impressive.
That is a good streak. So there's your buy or sell for this week. And we'll come back 11 o'clock hour here with Norm Wood of the Daily Press to talk more about the Hokies and the Who's and Fuente and Mendenhall and all that good stuff right here on ESPN Radio 94.1.